Hi, and welcome to SOS Stories of Survivors. I'm your host, Serina Dansker, and today's conversation is one that's really deeply personal to me. Loss changes us, especially loss of a child, and it reshapes everything in your life. You are transformed. Mike Seidenfrau and Dina Seiden are here to share their journey after their loss of their daughter, Jordyn, to suicide nearly 4 years ago. What they're doing now, they're turning their pain into purpose. They're speaking to all of us through their community, and their healing and love is just moving Jordyn's spirit and keeping us all in touch with what's going on in our lives and how to heal. So thank you both for being here. Thank you for your courage, and thank you for honoring Jordyn with this interview. But before we talk all about loss and I start to cry, I want people to know Jordyn. I want to know all about her. So please let us know. Take us back to who she was.
Well, the first things that come to my mind about Jordyn, she was charming, very, very funny, precocious, loving, thoughtful, generous, loyal, very talented. She also was a fighter for those who were not as gifted. She fought for the underdog, and she was a huge, huge heart, wise beyond her years, with a very old soul. Mike?
Yeah, so like Jordyn, when I started to tell my friends about Jordyn's struggles, she had a long road of downs, they found it hard to believe because she had an old soul, and my friends thought that she was older than she was because she was very, very thoughtful, very caring, and she loved hard. Like, she really cared about her friends. And when they had problems, they became her problems, and she wanted to solve them. And that was a strength and a weakness.
Yeah.
Because she had trouble regulating her own emotions with that. She gave the best presents. She loved birthdays, other people's birthdays, and she loved holidays. She loved dressing up and getting into the spirit. So that's the Jordyn that I choose to remember is the one that was giving, fun, in the moment, holidays, which makes this time of year pretty hard, but that's the Jordyn I remember, and that's why I try to keep her memory alive that way.
That's beautiful. I can totally relate to what you say, because it's so funny that our children chose what they did, because they were the first to be the defenders of the weak, and the first to come in and say, hey, someone's sitting alone, I'm here for you, I've got you. But yet with their struggles, they couldn't save themselves, and it breaks my heart. It truly does. I know these are the qualities you talk about that you remember most about your daughter. What are the qualities about her that you hope other people remember about her? Or is it the same, or?
Whenever I talk to any of her friends,
Yeah.
I say, I hope she's never forgotten. How could we ever forget Jordyn? She left such an impact on everybody that she met. She was one of those people when she walked into the room, you knew she was there. And a lot of people were scared of her. She had this bigger than life kind of, you didn't want to mess with her.
Could you tell a story? Do you have a story that comes to mind?
Well, because of where she was in that various times of her life, she knew how to fight.
Good.
And in one of the schools she was in, my husband now taught her how to kind of trip people in a funny way.
Yeah.
And she got in trouble in school one day, and they were taking her down to the office, and the principal was walking next to her, and she put that move on the principal.
Oh, no.
And the principal went down. So yeah, no one will forget Jordyn. She was bigger than life.
That's
And
beautiful.
one of the reasons why I think she couldn't be held here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Are there small moments or everyday things that still allow you to feel the closeness of her presence?
I talked to Jordyn, and that helped me get the early part of the struggle after she died. I was probably speaking to her every day. I remember I was going to visit her at the cemetery, and her husband and I are pretty good friends, and he said, why do you visit her? You talk to her every day.
Yeah.
So I've tried to, by speaking to her and imagining her speaking back, I've tried to keep her alive that way. And then I keep a pretty active social media presence. It's mostly about her.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to keep her memory alive. And I do, there are times I do feel her. She appears in dreams.
Mm.
She speaks to me. Sometimes I've heard her voice a few times.
Yeah, I've had those experiences myself. What about you, Dina?
So she was cremated, and my daughter Darren and I had her ashes put into our necklaces here. So she's literally on me every day. She had a triple heart tattoo. So we all got her tattoo, and I put her initials on me. I'm blessed to work with a lot of people who knew Jordyn and physically met her, and her respite worker I work with, and I'll walk into school and I'll be wearing a pair of pants, and she'll be and I'll say, Jordyn would say, 911, I'd like to report a missing ass. Or, my husband, she would take her long, disgusting nails that we all hated that she had to have manicured, and she would, in the back of his neck, go credit or debit, and he would say, well, wait till you're my age and your boobs are hanging down to your knees. Gravity, like just things like.
I love that.
She was just, yeah, those are the things I think.
She was
about.
unabashedly herself.
Yeah, and really dirty. Like she had a mouth on her that just most parents would be
Appalled.
so embarrassed by or appalled by. And I just, what if somebody kidnapped me?
Right.
And we would say, well, he would say, would wait 20 minutes because you'd be coming back through that door. He would be returning you. So it's just, those are the memories I keep in my head.
Oh my gosh. Are there songs or any symbols that remind you of Jordyn? Or
Jordyn was very resilient, and she got knocked down a lot of times. And she had a tough life, with her struggles, and there were multiple attempts or overdoses, or when she hurt herself and on purpose and ended up in a psychiatric hospital or whatever the case may be. But she always made a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of Mama Said Knock You Out
Mm-hmm.
by LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. She kept coming back until she couldn't.
Oh my gosh. I had on the show a woman who's a psychotherapist. At one of the retreats I went to, she spoke about it. She lost her daughter to suicide as well. And her daughter was in a mental hospital, and they had released her. And I guess the medication or whatever that she was on, within 2 weeks, she had died by suicide. And as a psychotherapist, she took it really hard and took it really personally. And she feels that the system failed her daughter, the very system that she wanted to believe in and was taught to believe in. Do you guys find that at all? Or
my therapist actually has said, we still can't figure out how to cure the brain. We haven't yet figured it out. And it's true. And I would sit in on so many sessions with Jordyn and listen to her talk about what she was going through. And every psychiatrist, every social worker, every therapist, there is no cure for it. You can manage some of the symptoms,
Right.
but I mean, it's one of those things where I don't know that we'll ever.
Do you think this generation has a harder time than, let's say, our generation?
I'm going to answer the other question on
Yeah.
that one. I do think that our generation has a much harder time because they have information on their phones instantaneously, and their minds aren't mature enough to process it, and it's a lot of pressure for these kids. A person's mind isn't fully developed until they're 27,
Right.
and at 13, 14, 15-year-old, they're getting inundated with information that is just too much, and social, the bullying and all that stuff. So I think these kids don't have the foundation to deal with what they're seeing on their phones with news and all the political discourse and social justice issues and bullying, which is really bad. But I wanted to go back to that other question. Jordyn, I don't think the system failed Jordyn at all. I think Jordyn had a lot of help, a lot of advocates, and I just didn't think this, and it was hard for me to accept this part of it. I was the last one usually to accept these things because I always saw the good in her. Everyone did, but I didn't want that to sound wrong. Everyone did, but I was the last one to be like, okay, we got to do this. I just think she wasn't for here. She loved hard and she cared for everyone, and when she didn't get it back, it set her off. And we were trying to keep her alive until my goal was just get her to 27, and then maybe she'll figure it out.
Wow.
And this world wasn't, it was just too much for her.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I follow what you're saying, and I hold it dear to me because I do believe when you are an old soul and when you've got so much heart, it's a lot. It's a lot for these kids, and as I was saying with social media, just imagine growing up in a world like it is today, where every wrong thing you've done is now publicized. I was talking to somebody recently who was telling me something called sextortion. And I don't know if the audience knows what that is, but I've been told these kids, show their body parts. Like they'll get a text from someone in their friend group, supposedly, no one they actually knew, who shows them a picture. Let's say a girl shows a picture of her boobs, and then she asks the guy to show a part of him, and then when they do, they say, okay, now that you did that, unless you pay me, I'm going to text this to all of your friends, and you're going to be like ostracized and done all this. And these kids are just devastated. They don't know how to handle it, how to recoup from that. And some of them tell their parents, and their parents are able to help navigate, but some of them don't. And it's just devastating to me as to what these kids are going through nowadays. But as far as, our children, I mean, I find Scott is teaching me so much, even now when he's on the other side. Do you guys have something where you can talk about what Jordyn is teaching you, maybe about love, life, or just about being human?
Well, she taught me patience, tolerance. Something I would never do is a podcast. So she was so brave. I mean, I'm thinking about all the time she was put into situations where she was alone in these scary places and had to do things and against her will most of the time. And I've learned that I'm saying yes to things that I definitely would not have done if it weren't for her. This is something I would never have done. Advocating for people that are less fortunate. I did it for her whole life, so I still do it. Empathy. I mean, she taught me, she's created me into a person that I don't think I would have been if not for Jordyn.
Wow.
So
That's so powerful.
she continued. I mean, she's with me.
Yeah.
She shaped me into this person that I definitely was not before becoming her mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. Mike, do you want to add to that?
I think from her death, what I learned is that eat the cake, live in the moment, live for today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's not given.
No.
Life is short.
God bless. Gosh. No truer words than that. Nothing is guaranteed. We've learned that we're part of a club that no one really wants to be a part of, but this club that we're in, it changes us. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the after. Let's talk about when Jordyn died. I'm sure the ground shifted beneath you, like I felt like I was sucker punched in my soul. What were those early days like for you?
It was all you could think about from the time you woke up to all day, and then it was the last thing you thought about when you hit the pillow. And that went on for quite some time. And then I don't know when or how or why, but as time moved forward, it became less of a whole. And I just kept thinking, put one foot forward, put another foot forward. You can do this. She'd want you to do this. This is not. She left some notes in past attempts, and Mom, don't stop running, don't stop living, keep going. And I think over time, I just kept repeating that in my head. Yeah. And the first year was horrible. But I think that as you go through time, it's always going to be a part of you. But you learn how to navigate the everyday in a different way.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, I'm trying to gather my thoughts on this one. Yeah, some of it I don't remember, to be honest. And it wasn't like I didn't see it coming. I mean, she was in a facility in September, and she escaped and almost ended her life. And at that point, I already started to grieve and go into this is going to happen, and I sort of numbed myself to life, and it was self-preservation. And what had happened, she had escaped from another facility, so she was missing at that point. So when Dina called me, I just started going into reactive mode. Just started doing. I had to call the police in whatever town that was, and then Tom and I went to get her remains, and just kept doing. And then I just tried to fill my plate with things so I didn't have to think about it. Yeah. Because I didn't want to deal with it. And I just kept doing. I would work. I went back to work. The funeral was on a Thursday, I think, and I went back to work on Monday. Wow. Because I just didn't know any better. I didn't want to think about it.
That's a normal thing, especially for men to do.
Yeah,
my husband was the same way.
I just didn't want to think about it, and I didn't feel it. I didn't let myself feel it, and that was exhausting. Yeah. And in there's no rule book on how to grieve, but to people out there, don't do what I did. Like, you got to feel it. You got to let yourself cry and just feel it. And I didn't do that. So it was really a haze. I know that I was exhausted a lot because faking it all day is very tiring.
And I'm sure people know, so they're offering you the condolences constantly,
Oh, there was a ton of support out there. I just was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I wasn't.
No. It's crazy because you don't realize how much support is out there until something so horrendous happens in your life, you know. I had no idea how strong my community was until this happened, and the support that poured out blew me away. Um, you know, and as you said, Mike, you know, there's no rule book on grief. And we all grieve differently. I grieve differently than my husband does, than my children did. How was this for your daughter, Darren?
She was in college
Okay.
when this happened, and it was a week, 10 days before Christmas. And she's the one who got the phone call.
Mm.
And she called me. Jordyn's dead. Jordyn's dead.
Oh my God.
And jumped in her car and headed home.
Oh,
And after the funeral, her friends from college came, and after that, she went right back to school.
yeah.
And she was in therapy, thank God. And I don't know how she got through it as well as she did.
Yeah.
But she's a pretty incredible kid, and you know, she talks about it here and there, and we talk about her, but you know, I don't know that she's truly even actually grieved.
Yeah.
And I know you're listening, and you're probably like, Mom, but
But this is your
Yes,
perspective, you
yes,
know, and
you know, I pray that, and I don't pray because I don't believe, but I do hope that as she gets older and grows, that she's able to properly go through it. I don't want it catching up later in life.
Yeah, I think she kind of follows the same grief recovery system that I did initially.
yeah.
Just get busy and not think about it.
Well, that's, you know, what we do, right? We all have our different. For me, I needed to know, as silly as it sounds, I know he was dead, but I needed to know he was okay. Yes.
So, yes, and I know she's listening too. We have a friend who's a medium, and she showed up at the funeral. She knew. And then a couple of days after the funeral, she came to the house, and we all sat around the table. And she gave us our reading, and it was Jordyn, and she was with my mom, and they were very busy already, and it gave me a ton of comfort
Yeah.
to know that she was in good hands.
Yeah.
And along with the Reiki, I also went to, and
Yeah.
same thing. They all said the same thing. She's busy. She's with your mother. They're playing mahjong. They're doing this. So I know that brought me comfort.
Yeah.
I don't know, after the medium, if you felt the same way.
Well, I mean, some of the things that Jordyn said to me initially, I like that she had me on a pedestal, and like at first I didn't want to hear that, because then
It's a lot of responsibility.
like I felt like I might have let her down, like
Yeah.
when I started getting that communications, because
Mm-hmm.
I was giving her pep talks after each fall, and towards the end I asked her if she still wanted me to do it
Yeah.
when she had the second incident at Cooper Reese. And I asked her, do you still want me to do this? Like I was giving her like almost a way out. And she didn't answer me that day, but she did answer me that she still wanted me to do it. And so like there was no pep talk at the end because she was missing.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like no pep talk maybe, you know. So when I hear that, like when I heard her say that, it actually didn't work for me.
Yeah.
It put me in a bad place, and then the Reiki, whatever they're called, that didn't work for me either. But after, like, other messages that the medium got to me were helpful and more cheerful. And I would frame, if Jordyn said that to me today through a medium, I would frame it differently than I received it
Yeah.
when I was struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go to just one medium. I went to several different
You
mediums.
need answers.
I wanted, I didn't believe,
Mhm.
yes, I believed, but I wanted confirmation. I wanted to know, and the signs. Sometimes I would close my eyes when I would be crying and I would be just like, I wanted a sign. I wanted to see a heart. I wanted to know he was okay. And I would look up in the sky and I would see that every cloud was a heart. And I would close my eyes really fast and the tears would come because I wanted it, but I didn't want it, and it was just that push pull. And it was just like, I was so angry at him, so angry. Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit, about how you both said you never would have expected to be on a podcast, and Lord knows I never expected to be hosting one, but yet here we are. And let's talk about what it took to get through that first year of grief. I mean, a lot of times you're just numb and you just go through the motions. And for me, I wanted to be strong for my children, for my husband, because yeah, we have this thing in my family. We talk about, that one of us is the rock and one of us is the crazy. In every relationship, there's those two people. And I would always tease my kids and be like, I'm the rock, dad is the crazy. And they'd be, oh no, mom, dad's the rock, you're the crazy. And so as we were going through this, I'm like, well, I may be the wild child here, but I'm definitely the glue. And because of that, I needed to solidify that even though, and I know trauma from my youth and from past experiences, thankfully not suicide attempts, but um, I, I know that feeling of when you feel like you've got a hole so deep in your soul that you just try and fill it with other things. And I needed to set an example to my children, especially to let them know that they're going to heal, that this is going to be okay. And I couldn't come up with the right words, but my husband had a great analogy. And he was like, listen, he's like, think about getting sliced with a machete, right? It's a huge gash on your arm. It's going to bleed uncontrollably. It hurts like hell. He says, it's going to take a while, but eventually it's going to scab. And every time you look in the mirror, you're going to remember what happened. And it'll leave a big scar, but you'll be able to use your arm again. And he said, that's what this grief is like. And I was like, how did you come up with that?
I never heard that.
So anyway, what did it take for you to survive the first year?
Well, it took me a lot of therapy.
Yeah.
It took me staying home for the first month and a half from work. And then it took me, I'm grateful that I worked for a place that allowed me to, to come back part-time for the rest of that school year.
Yeah.
So I was able to do my morning and just ground myself and before I went in. And then, the summer came, I was off. And then I said, you know what, I think maybe I'm going to go back full-time in September. I'm going to try.
Good.
And I did. And I work with, again, a team of people who, knew the situation and knew her and knew all the struggles on the day-to-day. And I just felt very supported there.
Thank God.
So, and I have great students. And I felt very blessed to be able to get through the first year in my way. I know a lot of people don't have that. Some people are forced to go back to work or don't work and don't have a place to go or choose not to. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But for me, that first year, and I keep my circle of people around me very small. And I don't have a bandwidth like I used to for a lot of people. So I found that keeping it small, intimate, valuing the friendships and relationships that I had, trying to be there for Darren as much as I could, my husband, and the people that really mattered. Was the way to get through that first year for me.
I really don't know how I did it. If it wasn't for Darren and Jordyn, I don't even know if I would have survived it. I just engorged myself with things, with work, with community service events that I'm involved with. I just I fully absorbed myself into them. I was listening to probably 3 or 4 Jet podcasts a day. I'm a big Jet fan. It was like I was a general manager of the Jets. I was at that point I was a race director of the Women's Distance Festival, and I was doing everything I could to make it the biggest one ever. I was doing it for Jordyn. I was convincing myself I was doing it for Jordyn, and I was working like people were like, oh my God, you're so strong. I wasn't strong. I was just trying to fill
Fill the hole.
the hole.
Yeah.
And then 2 days after Father's Day, so 6 months, I guess, after 5, 6 months, I just crashed and burned.
Yeah.
And I went into, I don't even know how to describe what happened to me then. I just went dark. And it was bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, the people around me probably saw it coming. The people closest to me, they were there. People were offering help, or saying I wasn't in therapy. I thought I didn't need it.
Right.
So I did everything you shouldn't do. Okay, and it took me about 1.5 years to get to the place where I needed to be for therapy, and a grief recovery group that was very helpful.
Oh, okay. Let's we're getting a message. Let's talk about prevention. How do we help our kids in these conversations? Wow. Okay. Oh boy. Let's talk about that. How do we prevent this?
So actually, I was talking to my daughter
Yeah.
before she was doing my hair, because I don't do hair, and she was doing my makeup. I don't own makeup.
Right.
And I said, one of the questions might be, what do you tell people who are struggling with mental health? And I looked at her and I said, you know what? And she agreed. When I sat with Jordyn in her therapy, and she would describe what was going on in her head and what she was seeing, and this black cloud that she couldn't escape, I knew that me telling her it'll get better, there's help out there, you have everything to live for, it didn't matter. So I wish it would make a difference to them.
I think awareness. I mean, I mean, there's every journey is different, and I know that, Jordyn had been in mental hospitals and had getting all the help that she could. My Scotty didn't show the signs that, did he smoke pot or struggle with bullies and things like that? So did we all, growing up, and he was resilient. He was a jokester, fun. He made a decision. He was supposed to do his Eagle Project for Boy Scouts. And that night he decided to celebrate with a bunch of friends, and they were all in his room and they were smoking mushrooms. Now, I don't do mushrooms, but I pretty much know from my youth that you don't smoke them. But again, they got in trouble, their phones were taken away, and one thing led to another, and my son felt that he ruined his life and that there was no coming back. Now, my son, even though he didn't have his phone, very resilient, smart kid when it came to hacking into the internet or using his computer to call home. If he needed anything, he knew how, but he chose not to. And he made this decision, and he left me notes, and he left all of us notes about this was a decision that had nothing to do with us. It was all about him getting through his pain and how he felt he ruined his life. And he wasn't afraid to do that. Now, other children have other reasons why or things. The one thing I can tell parents out there is talk to your children. And even though I talked to my son that day, things can still go wrong. But the more you talk to them, the more you understand where they're coming from in this day and age of social media, the more you'll be able to communicate and let them know, that this is a temporary problem. If you take your life, it's permanent. You know, there's no coming back from that. And as far as grieving parents go, because I see there's another message on there, Mike, do you want? Yeah,
I want to go back to Samantha's.
Yeah.
And then I'll take Kenny too.
yeah,
I can only speak for Rockland County because that's where I live.
yeah,
But there are a ton of resources available, and in Rockland, the Rockland County Mental Health Association, NAMI of Rockland. I mean, there's plenty of resources, mostly free, that are available in your local community that you can reach out to get the support you need, as well as for your kids. So, I mean, Jordyn's case was Jordyn's case, and she was in a bad way, and her story isn't your kid's story. So there's help out there. Just ask for it. And Kenny, it took me a long time to get to a place where I could feel sort of normal again. Jordyn died 4+ years ago. It was basically this summer. It took me 3.5 years to start to feel like myself again.
yeah.
It takes time. It's not easy.
Mm-mm.
But there's a lot of resources out there for healing. You have to be willing to do therapy. I wasn't. I thought I didn't need it, but I did. And a group therapy that was specifically designed for parents who suffered the loss of a child through suicide was something that, or anyone who suffered a loss through suicide, was what really got me to at least stop spinning.
Yeah, that's so important. There are organizations, with the Forever Family Foundation actually hosts retreats specifically for parents who have lost children. And they have, it's amazing. They have a group of mediums that come in, a group of therapists, a group of psychologists, and they do this whole program around giving you the support, and you're with other people who are going through very similar things that you're going through. And as far as when does the pain ever stop? You just learn to live with it. It's always there. Your child is always going to be a part of you. They're here. They surround us. I believe, and this is my own personal belief, that their energy is still here, and that our energies are connected and will always be connected. And when I cross over to the other side, I will be greeted with just love and light and the energy of my son. And the quick story, and this is not about me, it's about you guys. But when my dog died, I was alone, and we were in this vet's office, and we had to put him down. And I had I had heard in my head the words, "I got doggo." And there's only one person in the world that ever called my dog Buddy doggo, because he hated the name Buddy. He thought it was stupid. Anyway, it was Scott. And I look over at the vet, and she puts her stethoscope on and listens to his heart. She goes, "Oh, he's passed." And I'm thinking to myself, I already know that because my sons told me that in my head. So they are there. They're waiting. And now my son has his dog. And it's just, it just takes time to learn how to live with it. It's really,
that's what it is.
right. You guys have both talked about doing the work.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk and explain what that is exactly?
Doing the work.
What does it mean to you? Therapy, community
Oh.
time, honesty?
For me, it was all about therapy.
Yeah.
I was in therapy for years before. So I had built coping strategies to handle life with Jordyn. And then kind of preparing for what if.
Yeah.
Because we kind of knew that it would only attempt so many times before it was going to work. And then the after was all about, I doubled up on the therapy. And I just worked really hard at getting it out, because after my mom passed, I didn't grieve well. I didn't grieve properly. And she taught me how to grieve. Jordyn really just taught me how to grieve. Yeah. So I doubled up on it, and again, just keeping my small knit circle
Yeah.
where I could just be myself and learn to say no,
Yes.
and that it's a complete sentence.
Yes.
And
That's so true.
You know, people are going to be unhappy with the decision I make. That's their problem, not mine. And to live in the truth of, you know, how I got to be actually me
Yeah.
without Jordyn physically.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing. What about you, Mike?
Well, I think just looking at some of the things I've said in the previous moments, I didn't think I needed the help or the work, and it took me. And please don't be me.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did. I took until I crashed and burned badly, and took just I don't other negative impacts on my personal life as a result of my lack of ability to at that point cope, to really hit rock bottom. But I at least realized that I didn't go further into the abyss. I did what I needed to do. So I did do the work. I've come a long way since I've been with my current therapist, and just I feel like without it, I wouldn't have a foundation to function now.
Yeah.
And again, the grief recovery group that I went through in the summer of 23 really also was very helpful. There's a lot of help out there. It's very easy to find. And I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for my therapist right now. So
that's so good to hear. I mean, I know that grief, of course, doesn't disappear, but it does evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the beginning, when I would meet someone new, and they would ask the very innocent question when you're getting to know someone, so how many kids do you have?
We just talked about it on the way to here.
Yeah, how do you guys answer that?
So we have different answers.
Good.
Again, somebody in school who didn't know,
Right.
how many kids do you have? And I said, I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
One is not with us anymore, and my other daughter. And oh my God, what happened? And but I can say I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
She is still my daughter.
Yeah.
And Mike.
Well, I don't not say that. I just like for me, in my office I have pictures of 3 kids, right? So when I meet someone in my office, the conversation happens, and it's answered. I briefly explain what happened, but I have a pretty active community service life and a lot of connections on social media. I mean, anyone who's connected to me knows everything about me. And so I didn't have a lot of those conversations about that specific topic, but I feel like so many people knew about it that I felt like people kind of looked at me like there was like, I don't want to catch that, like I had to deal with that a lot in social settings. So there was that, but I'm good. Don't worry.
So there's a question up there. It looks like, I can't see it from this angle, but it looks like in the beginning, Dad answered with his song.
Is that Darren?
Maybe. Can you read what it says there?
Yeah, Jordan's favorites.
Dad answered for sad, but the songs that remind me were Bruno Mars, Nana's song.
Yeah.
Nana was her bestie.
That's Darren.
And it's The Climb by Miley Cyrus. I agree, Darren. And it's also This Is My Fight song. That's also one of her songs. Very. See, that's Darren.
You see, you were being watched.
We are being watched. Yes.
That's amazing. That's so. See, the kids all know what we need. Sometimes we need them to remind us. We
got to save that
on what we forget, and it's true. I mean, our grief has evolved, and it's crazy. How things change, and our community, our children, they're teaching us.
Mhm.
They teach us from the other side. They're teaching us from here on how to get through some of the toughest things in
Mhm.
life. And it's a journey. That's the one thing I've learned, I think, the most is, nothing is guaranteed. But if you start every day grateful, and you are the best version of yourself that you can be, and you let your inner light shine and lead with that, I'm a totally different person from before to now. Not that I was a bad person before, but I wasn't who I am now. My light didn't shine as bright, I don't think. And it's so horrible that something so terrible had to happen for me to recognize what my true soul's purpose is. But this is it. It's putting out the word there, to talking to the audience and letting them know that no matter what you're going through, there is hope.
Yeah, there is.
And let's talk a little bit about your response from the community. I know it can be overwhelming. What has it felt like for you to see, people, some of your, people show up, volunteers, sponsors, friends, neighbors, but then the people that you thought would be there that I guess didn't know how to help or fit, were very uncomfortable around it. You were surprised maybe they're no longer in your life. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Are you talking about the?
I'm just talking about in general,
In general?
from grieving. Like I've had people that were in my life when my son was here that are no longer part of my life, and it
I think that's true no matter what.
Yeah.
I think, as you get older, friendships change anyway.
Yes.
People,
People let you down.
yeah, and people show up.
Yeah, and it's surprisingly.
But, I think I did it too.
Yeah.
People who no longer served me.
Yeah.
I didn't have, people who I grew up with or
Right.
people who I shared, Jordyn time with when she was younger. It didn't, my circle is small.
Right.
And so whether it was on their part or my part, it's irrelevant.
Mm.
It just evolved that way. And I don't fault anybody
No.
for any of it. It's really at this point who I choose
Yeah.
that are important.
Yeah. You choose more carefully, I think.
I am much
Yeah.
more carefully.
Yeah, I mean, people have a way of showing you who they are,
Yeah.
and some people really, really surprised me in a good way,
Yeah.
and helped me get through the worst moments of my life.
Yeah.
And some people let me down, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You move on. from
You
that.
do. Well, and I've learned like that not everybody's meant to be in your life
No.
for your entire life. Just as not everybody's meant to live 100 years, and we all have our own journeys, and some people are in it for a short period of time to show us something, and then others come in and they show us different things, and it is a journey, and it's a personal journey for each and every one of us. Let's talk about this race, this project to honor Jordyn. It's more than just about fundraising. Tell us about it.
So, and this is, I'm going to tie a few things in here. So,
Good.
yeah, I was struggling there for a while, and I had a lot of false starts with trying to get myself back involved in the community. And a friend asked me to serve on a board, which I haven't responded yet to. But there was a give or get where either you have to raise money or give money. And I was thinking, you know what, maybe I'll do a race, make a comeback as a race director. It was right around Jordyn's birthday. And I was talking to Tom, Dina's husband. I call him my husband-in-law. We're pretty tight. So that's a whole book. Talking about maybe doing a race for Jordyn. And then I'm thinking Halloween. We don't have a Halloween race here in Rockland. So I'm thinking Halloween race, thinking Jordyn. I run it by Tom.
Mm.
And Tom's like, well, then you have to do something that's about mental health. And I'm like, just going back to an earlier question, I'm going to be in front of people talking about my loss now. Like, I really want to do this. So I parked it for a day. And then I went for a walk the next day.
Mm.
And I started just thinking. And it was either Jordyn's birthday or the day after her birthday. It just clicked. I have a tattoo on my back. Nana, Jordan, Dina's mom, used to say to the girls, I love you to infinity and beyond, and double that.
Oh my God.
And that is tattooed to my back. And I'm like, that's it. That's the name of the race.
Oh, I love it.
And then I just like, then I'm like, I'm going to have to get outside my comfort zone. I'm going to have to talk about my loss.
Yeah.
Our loss. And I'm going to do this. And, you know, I gave it a few days before I started posting about it on social media. I gave it 3 or 4 days just to make sure it wasn't a false start.
Mm.
And I found myself again, like that part of me that after Jordyn died, I thought that part of me would never come back, and it was just so hard like, and I found my marching orders, my purpose again, and this issue, it became what I wanted to do. And so this is not about raising money. It's about raising awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I want people to understand is that, you know, mental health is a disease. When people die by suicide, they don't commit suicide, they die by suicide. It's a disease. And the person next to you sitting at the diner who looks normal could be really struggling. And Jordyn, I mean, to my friend, like, we saw Jordyn at her worst, so we knew she was struggling. But to many of my friends, when I started, again, I mentioned this earlier, when I started to tell them what was going on, they couldn't believe, because what they saw in Jordyn was this kid with a beautiful smile and a warm heart. And that's most of the people that struggle every day. Yes. With mental illness. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, and what Dina is going to be talking about when we're doing this thing for this race. So it's really about raising awareness and connecting the dots, and using the stage to make a difference, so that people understand that mental health is not this taboo subject. No, that's right. And to destigmatize the whole issue. And that's what it's about. And it's also about, for Jade, my little one, Jade has no memory of Jordyn, because when Jordyn was around, Jade was like 2, and Jordyn was in mental health facilities for almost an entire year. And I want Jade to have something tangible. So this Halloween theme race is going to be huge. Like, we're going to have a marching band. We're going to have
I love that.
A known DJ, which I can't announce yet. He's going to do it. We're going to have a monster mash, face painting, a pumpkin patch.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
And I want Jade to have something that she can remember Jordyn by, that's not our memories. And so I'm doing it for that reason, but it's really about being able to make a difference. Yes. For other, and we'll probably never know who we help.
And no, you can't. But you know what? You are helping people.
It's not about that, and it's about talking about something that people like.
It's exactly, and it shouldn't be taboo anymore. I mean, when we were growing up, whatever trauma was going on in your house stayed in your house. You never talked about it, and. You know, people that are struggling mentally, you don't know. They could be someone you run with every day and seem like the most joyful person ever, but they fake it till they make it, you know, and it's so hard. That's why just to keep talking, just keep checking in on your friends, on your loved ones, on your neighbors, just really see them. Because so often we're so caught up in our own worlds that, you know, it's also for, hey, how are you? I'm fine, you know. You really, nobody's listening. Nobody's paying attention. It's time we listen. It's time we pay attention. It's time, if you see that homeless person on the street, you go up to them and you say, hey, how are you? Can I buy you some food? If you don't want to give them money because you're afraid they're going to buy drugs with it. Recognize that they're there. Give someone a second chance if they failed at something. Believe in them. Sometimes just smile at them. If you see someone wearing a nice hat and you like it, tell them. You know, and Oh, for those who are listening who may be struggling with mental health right now, what would you want to tell them? What do you think?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the board.
Oh, is someone sending a message?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, honey. What is it? As a man, I didn't feel or cry for a long time.
I didn't feel okay crying.
Oh, okay. I don't want to show it because I was looked at for strength.
I cried often.
Oh, honey, cry.
Yeah, let it
It's
out.
okay.
It is. It's okay to cry. I think men themselves hold so much. They have such burdens, you know. Sometimes they want to be the breadwinner and they hold everything in because they're not supposed to show emotions. But that's a farce. Let it out, man.
I live with someone who cries all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cries much more than I do.
And that's okay.
Yes,
That's
okay.
okay.
You do realize this is live,
I
right?
know. Okay. He knows it.
What do you wish people had said sooner? Maybe. Anything? No.
No, we saw it coming.
No,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
What does hope look like for you today?
Oh, that's loaded. That was not on the
It was not on the guest for sorry.
No, hope.
Yeah, hope.
I don't know. I don't plan because you never know.
Right.
I just live for the now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have dreams of retiring one day,
Okay.
and I hope that I
Yeah.
get there. But I don't plan like I
Okay.
used to. I really don't. I hope my daughter
If
Darren.
you had a major magic wand
if I,
and you could wave it across the world,
I hope no other parent would have to go through the loss of their child.
Yeah, I'd like
God
to
bless.
deny membership to this club
Yeah,
forever.
vetoed. I love it. Yeah.
that's-
Okay, one last question for you guys. What do you think Jordyn would say if she was watching you, or what would you say to Jordyn if she was watching right now?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I feel like Jordyn is watching. Her presence is around, but Jordyn communicated through a medium to Darren last summer that she thought I was lost, and I was, but I'm okay now.
Oh.
Okay, I want you. I'm okay. Also, that I understand. I understand why, and I'm okay with it. And I love you, and I miss you.
Oh.
I would say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're not here. I'm sorry for all that you're missing because you would just love what's going on in this life most of the time. I would say how grateful I am that I was your mom and that we were the ones that got to rescue you from that orphanage in Russia. And how I hope that you and my mom are looking, watching, and are proud of the person I am and how I've continued to go through life without you here.
Oh.
I love you, miss you. You're right here every day. You're on my neck. So I love you.
Oh my God, you guys are the most amazing parents. Thank you for sharing that.
And Jade will know you, one way or the other.
It's not natural.
Let's talk about how people can get involved and support the race or donate or just show up for the cause. I have a website here that I need my glasses to see.
I sent you.
Let's see here.
Hang on, I sent you the wrong one.
Oh, that's okay. It looks like it's
That's my login.
the Community Foundation
Yeah, the Community Foundation of Orange
and
Sullivan. There's a memorial fund in Jordyn's name.
Jordyn Seiden.
Jordyn Seiden.
And it's taking place on
Halloween next year. The race starts at 10 o'clock at Rockland Lake, and the fun stuff for the kids and the adults is going to be prior to the race.
That's awesome. Now, I normally close every episode with a poem from my late son, Scott, but today's different. And today, I want to share a poem about what it's like to live with the loss of a child. I joined one of those Facebook groups for grieving parents, and this guy, Larry Carlat, had written an analogy, and every time I read it, I cry. So please excuse me in advance if I start to cry, but it goes like this. When your child dies, you're no longer an ordinary parent. You become extraordinary. The extra is the sorrow and suffering you must face and move through. Once you come out from the other side of this misery, you are permanently changed. You've gone from extra to extraordinary, closing up the space between the two words. It's inexplicably opened up your brave new heart. A piece of you is missing, but in its place is something different that has its own singular beauty. You now have the noble heart of a warrior. You are fearless, forthright, well-grounded, and at peace. Your heart is healed and your empathy knows no bounds. You can speak only the truth because you know everything else is just noise. You are wiser and have learned things about life and death that most people could never imagine. You can't see this transformation while it occurs, just like a caterpillar can't see that it's becoming a butterfly. You weren't even aware that it was going on, which is the only way it could have happened. And at the same time, you alone made it happen. It seems like everything about you is different, yet you are who you've always been, just more enlightened. You're the 3.0 version of yourself, an advanced and enhanced parent with an unmatched ability to connect, especially to others just like you. That connection is extraordinarily solid, sincere, considerate, and heartfelt, a perfect reflection of who you have become. The thing about being extraordinary is that you don't walk around feeling extraordinary. You wake up in the morning, get out of bed, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, go to sleep, and basically live your life the way you've always lived it. Your secret identity remains concealed. Sometimes you share it with others, but you mostly keep it to yourself. You're okay with being Clark Kent because you know Superman lives inside you. Your child knows this too. One of your unique superpowers has been the ability to reestablish a whole new relationship with them. You're now in touch with their authentic self because your hearts are doing the talking. You talk about whatever it was you always talked about. You ask advice, you gossip, or you just shoot the breeze. You tell them how much you love and miss them, and they tell you the same. And you do this every day until you meet again. And for that reason alone, you love this superpower best of all. One of the unanticipated benefits of being an extraordinary parent is that you're now an exclusive member of a private club. Whenever you meet another EP, you instantly recognize each other and talk in a kind of shorthand that only the two of you can understand. You are kindred spirits who are connected to each other, and your children's spirits are united on the other side. The wonderful and surprising reward of being in this club is how good it feels to listen to and help a fellow member. Perhaps the most valuable benefit is what you've learned. You've learned that life is short and precious. You learned that if you love, you grieve, and your love never dies. You've learned to listen to your heart even after it was obliterated. You've learned that you can be happy again, despite missing your child more than anything. You've learned that your child's death was just the beginning of the next chapter of your life. The funny thing about being extraordinary is that everybody you know already knows that you are. They've seen it every day since the day your child died. You were the last to know. I just can't help myself. Anyway, Mike and Dina, thank you for trusting us with Jordyn's story. Whew. And thank you for your courage and doing the work when it could have been easier just to stay in bed and disappear. Your willingness to be here, especially knowing how hard this will be, is going to save lives. I promise you that. And to everyone listening, if you're struggling, you are not alone. And if you're able to help, this is how community heals. Thank you for joining us today. And if you'd like to help support Jordyn's life and legacy, please go to her fundraiser. And if you'd like to hear more of my son Scott's poems or my story, please check out my book, SOS, A Lesson on Love, Loss, and Survival. It's on Amazon or my website, serinadansker.com. Until next week, God bless you. Stay safe.